And just like that, real estate prices in the Fraser Valley of BC on average are back under $1 million. That's what we're going to be talking about today. Now, it's kind of crazy to say this because the market continues to deteriorate. But the reason I have to do this live today on this live stream here on the channel is because, well, honestly, I don't have enough time. I haven't recorded a video in 2 weeks, a little behind the scenes for you. Everything that's been on the channel for the last couple of weeks, even though the mustache has been amazing, has been pre-recorded because I had other stuff going on, some family vacations, that sort of stuff. But at the same time, within the last 7 days, my team has put together 6 accepted offers and firmed up another deal. They've been a wide variety of things. There's court-ordered sales flying around out there. There's all sorts of stuff happening. And so as I sat down today, this afternoon, before the end of the day to try and jam in a video to get it out for Monday, I thought, nope, I'm just going to come here live and go over the stats with you because I haven't even read them. They came out the other day. I haven't even read them yet. We're going to go over them. I just saw this headline of average price in the Fraser Valley dropping below $1 million across all asset classes. So I want to dive into that, see what it looks like. And yeah, honestly, the talk in the market out there right now, if you're listening to anybody coming out of Toronto, they're saying, hey, sales numbers are up, prices are still down, but sales numbers are up and they're all rah, rah, rah. We're not seeing that here. We're not seeing sales numbers up. If anything, we're still seeing the sales numbers and prices both declining. However, anecdotally, my team is putting up a pretty good month if any of these deals come together. The next question is, do they come together? Does the buyer get financing? Do they pass inspection? Is the strata any good? Those are all big questions these days. Still to date, 1 out of every 5 accepted offers we're getting, so 20% or possibly more of every accepted offer we're getting is falling apart. And it's usually due to buyer financing. And what that tells me is that agents are out there running around with clients who are not pre-qualified. So I totally forgot to encourage people to write in the chat, ask me your questions in the chat. So ask me your questions in the chat, but I'm going to go over some numbers here and show you exactly what's going on out there because I am starting to see some life in the market. Not happy with the prices, but life in the market. Oh, here we go. We already got a commenter. No, you're busy sharing your wisdom. Yeah, I wouldn't call it wisdom. I will call it market knowledge. Okay, so let's take a look. I'm going to pop into the stats here, just what I saw. So all I've looked at so far, I've not read these at all. I just wanted to take a look, and I just noticed this average price for September is down now below $1 million. So a year ago it was $1,025,000, so we're down 3.8%, and last month it was $1,008,000, so we're down 2% since then. Now, what does that mean? Well, average price is not a good indicator of price. It is the overall number of sales, just all the sales, right? All of those prices divided by the number of sales. So it doesn't actually tell you what's going on particular in the market. That's why we have benchmark pricing. I don't like median pricing either. It just means the middle sale. So if there are lots of high ends or lots of low ends, that will be skewed. Bigger sample sets, obviously better. Number of sales is also down. So this last month, 962. This number has been like in the 900s, it seems like all year. April, it should have been like 2,000. September should have been like 1,500. Just seems like it's always been 900. January should have been 800 and it was 900. Like, it just seems like it's always been at that number all year long. However, over last month, of course, as we would suspect, you are going to see the number of sales increase in September. I haven't seen that in my business. Our September was not great, but our October is off to a crazy good start here. New listings to the market, obviously way up still, up over the last month, which we would suspect, and active listings on the market. Now, I get really frustrated with this number because active listings on the market, my understanding here, is absolutely everything. But when I go into the system and I pull up just residential active listings on the market, which I maybe could do here, you'll see a lot lower number than that, because there's no way that I really have seen them go up necessarily. But maybe when you include all of the listings, like all of the commercial and all of the rental listings and that sort of thing, you will see that number be higher than what I would normally report, because I'm not looking at rentals and those sort of things. Okay, so let's go down, break this down now into detached. Again, I'm going over this here with you live, so I want to see what's going on. Detached average price. Detached is really taking the hit, right? We're down year over year, an average price of 8.6%. And then my realtor thing I'm supposed to say is, well, it's not that bad because it's benchmark. Well, benchmark is still down 5.4%. This is really getting dragged down in certain areas. What I'm noticing anyway, I'll give you my thoughts before we get into the specifics, but detached properties, say in North Surrey right now, that were very heavily investor driven or will be assembled into certain condo buildings and stuff, all that stuff's just sitting now. So the good livable homes obviously still selling, but they have come down too. Let me tell you, I'm not super happy about my neighborhood right now. But I mean, here, look, the actual number of sales, 344. Last year was actually lower. So we are seeing some more sales, but that's only because price has come down fairly substantially. Look at that. Even getting some little thank yous and hearts and different things going on. Make sure, hey, there's 16 people here. Comment down below. Let me know if you want to look at any particular area. I'll go over them. I also have the stats center available so you can see it in the line graph as well. Townhouses. So average price in detached was down 8.6%. Townhouses not doing so bad, but again, still down as my phone is ringing. And much like what it sounds like the kind of Toronto condo numbers, it looks like the decrease in condos is actually slowing down compared to detached in average price. But look at this benchmark pricing. This is the only area where benchmark pricing is actually showing a steeper decline than average pricing year over year. And we're seeing less and less and less sales. So kind of strange that it seems to be going backwards. It feels like condos are the thing that's really, really down in price. But believe it or not, it's kind of actually more the detached house over top of the condos, and the condos are not currently selling at as good of a rate. If you care about Abbotsford, let me know. I will stop and tell. Hey, Sneaky Pete is here. Always Sneaky Pete, the you spend all day on YouTube. Every time I do a live, Sneaky Pete is on. North Surrey condos. Sure, let's take a peek at North Surrey condos. Surrey is broken down into many different parts, but let's take a look at North Surrey. Average. So this is, if you're going to call it a bloodbath, this is where the bloodbath is happening. The North Surrey condo situation is not good. The number of sales year over year down 17%. I mean, 64 sales in all of North Surrey condos. I want to say there's something like 800 or 900 active listings, it feels like, at any given time. I know the numbers here say 814. Yeah, maybe that's right. It feels greater than that right now. I was looking at just one beds in Wally today, and it was 352 one beds in studios. So it's really, really crazy. It does seem to be a kind of a disproportionate one beds and small units are really getting beat up in comparison to other properties. Condos are not people. Owners are people. And then we're down, what are we looking at? Average price, 2.3%. So let me just stop and think about this for a minute. $489 a year ago so if I go back to October last year, $489 would get me a one bed and den. Is that $443? It would have to be a pretty nice one bed and den for $443 right now. I'm starting to see a lot of junior one beds in the $350 range, and I'm starting to see one beds under $400,000. So, I mean, that is the area that is definitely getting beat up. Oh, look at that. A lot more people here right now. Dumb Money is here. Dumb Money also spends all of his time on, or her time on YouTube. We don't know. Okay, let's zoom back out Now, when I look at this, I mean, personally, I live in Cloverdale, so I'm going to stop and take a look here. This is definitely what we're seeing. I'm seeing definitely a drop in Surrey pricing in the detached market, which is what I focus on quite a bit. Thankfully, a lot more sales happening in that area. Townhouses always in actually, you know what? Let's look at townhouses in Langley, because townhouses in Langley seem to be usually the best market. They're down only 3.8%, but look at how few sales there were in comparison to the same time last year. And then the overall city of Surrey, because that's what everybody cares about here on this channel. Man, am I bouncing around too much. Slow me down if you want me to slow down. The overall city of Surrey detached. So it's 1.628 a year ago, 1.5. I'm going to say that's probably pretty accurate in benchmark pricing. I feel like that's super representative of my home. Maybe more so in the average pricing. Townhouses, again, getting beat up. We're seeing this happening all the time. But now here's an opportunity that I've identified in townhouses. I actually did a video about this a little bit ago. If you're going from a very small townhouse to a very large townhouse, so gone are usually the days now that you can go from a 2-bed townhouse to a detached house. Usually you have to go from a 2-bed townhouse to a 3-bed and rec room, very large townhouse, then to the detached house a number of years later. That gap is very small now. That gap is $150,000. So there's a lot of people that have been able to look at that, and I think they should. And then obviously condos across the whole city, just really down. I love to look at all these numbers, but I don't want to bore everybody here with them. What I want to do is take a look at this chart. So if you can tell what this chart is, the blue is the number of active listings. And this is what I'm talking about, where it actually did tip off over the summer. And I don't expect it to go back up. It never usually does. It will sink now from this point forward for the year. The number of new listings coming to the market did tick back up in September, as we would suspect. And then the number of sales seems to be very, very flat. Look at this. This is the overall consumption rate, 9%. 9%. 9% of homes are selling each and every month. That ain't that many. So that means less than 1 in 10 homes is selling each and every month. So if you are not the next one to sell, you may be waiting for another 9 months. Think about it that way. And then we have actually benchmark pricing. I love to look. This is the first place I usually come to actually when I look at the stats each and every month, because it tells me what's happening in a way that my small brain can comprehend it. And all I'm seeing here is that detached is plummeting quick. That's really what I'm focusing on. Detached is plummeting quickly, and I'm seeing that. I'm personally looking at homes myself right now, not for an immediate but eventual move. And of the homes that I think are suitable for my family and I, their prices are coming down, and I'm like, oh man, that's a really good price. Like, I'm willing to pay that price. I wish I could go to the sellers and just say, hey, will you hold on for a year, because I'm not quite ready yet. But like, there's some good prices out there. But then I'm going to have to swallow my pride and sell my house for less than I thought. So as long as I'm moving up, that's a good thing. Should I pop into the comments? Lots of big comments here. What else we got? Average pricing. Let's go back. So where we are right now. So this is average detached pricing. Just over 1.4. We were at that spot at the end of 2023 when I told a lot of people that it was a pretty good time to buy, and it was for 2 years and then not again. We are still above the crash after 22. And if you draw this line straight up, we are kind of approaching the end portion to middle portion of, let's say, that's the end of 22 basically. Or sorry, the end of 21 basically, where we are right now. So in all, maybe I should have called this video 4 years of gains erased. That's very possible, but that is what the stats are doing. The average price is now under $1 million, and that includes all property types. And basically, there's nowhere left to run right now. Can we say that? It's everybody. Everybody's getting smashed. But then that has a lot of buyers going around writing lowball offers, of which sellers are not interested in taking. And that's why we're at a standstill. Sellers unrealistically high, buyers unrealistically low. Everybody sits until one of them becomes right. Eventually, one of them will. Okay, let me get into the comments here because I've been ranting for a little bit here, and I highly encourage you to comment because I want to spend most of my time there and answer your questions. Because stats really, how much can you say, oh, prices are coming down, prices are coming down, prices are coming down? It's been pretty obvious now for a solid 6 months or more that prices are going to continue to come down. And my sellers hate to hear that, but it doesn't mean it's not what's happening. What do we got? Boom. There's no boom. Dumb money. Who's picking up the kids? Not me. Who's got kids? Dink here. LOL. Dual income. I hope that means dual income, no kids is here. I have a townhouse I purchased in Murrayville, Langley. Was asking for $830. Then I reposted it and was asking $760. Then again, $725. I closed at $705, which was good deal then. Great. I mean, that's chasing the market a bit. I don't know if you, oh, sorry, you purchased it. Yeah. So there's definitely deals out there. There's a bunch of people chasing the market down. Oh, you guys are having a conversation here. Okay. I'm going to skip past all that. Oh, you guys are just having a conversation here. Okay. Nobody has any questions in. You guys are just talking about this purchase in Murrayville. Tell me what okay, so it was a 3-bed, 2-bath. I mean, $705 in Murrayville would be a pretty small townhouse or pretty old townhouse, one or the other. 2018 prices coming. Still won't make sense to buy given what's happening to this country. Okay, I'll give you that one. 2018 prices are already here in Wally condos if you want one. And no, it's never good enough when the prices, even when the prices come down. Let me give you an example. I got licensed in 08, in 09. Everybody was talking about how this is crazy. This is still a bubble. Prices didn't come down enough. It didn't deleverage like the States did. 2010, 2011, our prices stayed up at $380,000 for a rancher when they went from $380 to $200 in Seattle. Everything's a bubble. It's always going to come down. That was $380,000 for a rancher back then. Everybody's always going to complain about prices being too high. That's our God-given right as Canadians. We're allowed to complain. That's what we do. It doesn't mean, however, did you ever think about this? Let me throw this thought at you. If the seller is greedy because they won't sell for a certain amount, is the buyer just not as greedy because they will only buy for a certain amount and they only think that's the value? Right? Seller wants this much money. They're so greedy. Well, buyer thinks they should have the house for free, so they're greedy. Just my thoughts. What do you think about Walnut Grove area, specifically around Alex Hope Elementary? Walnut Grove area is a pretty tight area either way. So I will tell you, we do, I don't want to say too much in Walnut Grove, but we do a number of sales in Walnut Grove, probably less than 10 per year. And Walnut Grove is a very specific area. If you don't know where this is north of Langley, or north end of Langley, north of the freeway, from 200th out to about 216th. Very desirable area. The schools are very good. You avoid all of the North Langley congestion, but you have a very serious thing to consider when you're in Walnut Grove, which is you're going to end up with older homes. They're not going to be usually as renovated. They're not going to have things like basement rentals, and their townhouses are weird and their condos are old. And you just have to be prepared that if you want in that really good area, for instance, if you want to be in schools, you're not going to live in as nice a house. If you go into Willoughby, you will get a nicer, better home. If you want to go into Cloverdale, you will get a nicer, better home for the same amount of money, if not a little cheaper. You just may not have the best school ratings and the nice community feel and all that sort of thing. So if you want to live in a 3-level split 1980s home for $1.2, $1.3 million, Walnut Grove is your spot. If you need a 2-story with basement because you want a basement rental, Walnut Grove is not your spot. If you want big, beautiful island kitchen townhouse to raise kids in, Walnut Grove is not your spot. If you want awkward layout that will make work because we want the right catchment, Walnut Grove is your spot. That's the way it goes. Is this market more likely to sag for a long time or crash in the short time? Well, I mean, let's go back and show you exactly what it's doing. Here is the prices in HPI in all property types, detached and attached combined, over the last 5 years. So this is when the pandemic hit down here. And then you saw, people don't realize this was the big crash. The crash happened 3 years ago, everybody. Sorry to tell you. And then we've kind of had some rebouncing back and forth. And now we've been in this long kind of lazy slide down as our productivity and employment and everything gets worse. I see that continuing. I do not see a massive, unless there is a massive event of which will be unexpected. And I mean mass unexpected, like not just the economy's getting worse, so layoffs are happening, but like big deals, Lehman Brother types events, if you want to call them that, COVID types events, which could very well happen. I don't see any big fall-offs happening, but I do not see any upward pricing for the foreseeable future. So let me put my realtor spin on it like I have to do all of the time. That means someone like me who's looking at getting to a higher priced value or a higher price point than I'm currently in when I do go to move, time is my friend. Because yes, I have to swallow the pride that my home that I think is worth 1 point whatever is going to be worth 100 grand less than that. The property I'm moving up to is going to be worth 200 grand less than that. So that's got to be the best bit. That's what you got to focus on, I guess you would say. So do I think it's going to continue in this trend? Yes, I will. Let me go out here. This is your 10-year. And this is your max back to benchmark started in 05. Just so everybody sees what's going on here, I had all sorts of clients in this period of time saying that prices were going to crash. For sure, you see these big run-ups and kickbacks and run-ups and kickbacks and run-ups and kickbacks. That's happened. And yes, I do believe there's going to be downward continued pressure. And yes, I think that's a good thing for the overall people. It's going to be bad for the people that bought in here. Everybody else will be all right. All right, I get a bunch of 100s. What's 100s? Does mean you agree? Where's some hearts? Where's some loves? Give me some loves. Okay, I'm going to go back out of this and get back to your questions. "2018 prices will be base, back." Is that supposed to say base? "Has a bunch of sellers that bought at that level for many years." Okay. "I have an accepted offer on a court foreclosure. My lender is potentially giving me a 120-day rate hold mortgage. I am thinking of a scenario where the process goes beyond 120 days. So do not rely on me, Rakesh, for your advice, but I will tell you in this, so I do a number of foreclosures. I've always done them. I have experience in short sales, court-ordered sales, strata court-ordered sales, foreclosures from the bank. There is no real reason why, if you have your conditions off, that the court date should not be set within 4 to 6 weeks, really 3 weeks. I have one right now. Our court date was set in 3 weeks. So there is no reason why. Usually your accepted offer on a foreclosure, even though I would never do it, and I think you're crazy for doing it, but lots of people do. Usually you're 21 or 35 or something days after court approval. There's zero reason why you shouldn't expect to, or you should expect to go past 120 days. "I am unable to renew in a scenario if I lose my income. And that would put my deposit at risk." Well, if you've gone into a court-ordered sale and you're worried you can't close, you have not been advised very well, because a court order, if you fail to close on a court sale, you are not failing to close on a contract. You are defying a court order. So think about that for a minute. That would be a bad scenario. Don't do that. Also, if you lose your job between now and then, and it goes past the 120 days, the bank lending you your new mortgage is probably going to verify your income 2 days before you close anyway. So you would also be in trouble. Don't get me wrong. In nominal prices from 2018 for Detached, it may seem like a good price, but I started to realize that it makes no sense to purchase here at all. I see things are going downhill. Congratulations. Enjoy where you live. Did anybody see Pierre Poilievre's interview on Can't Be Censored? That was pretty good. I thought that was actually very, very telling because he brought up the point of all of these people who don't think buying a home is worth it anymore. He's like, congratulations. The government did exactly what they're supposed to do. They got you to lower the standard of life for yourself. And you're accepting it. I just value the sacrifice/risk I put into raising the capital and what you get for it. Okay, whatever that meant, I don't know. You have stats on Murrayville, Langley townhouses. Oh, let's look at Murrayville, Langley townhouses. Let's see if I can find it here. Let's go into Murrayville. And let's look at townhouses. So Murrayville's a pretty small spot, generally speaking. So even HPI will be jumpy. Generally speaking, you've been basically, let's call it basically flat since June of 23. You've seen some ups, but you're basically flat. Active listings are up. I mean, there's only 17 active listings, right? It's not that big of a deal. Month supply, hey, still in a seller's market. Still in a seller's market, technically. Number of sales. I mean, there's 6 sales in Murrayville. It's nothing, right? Now let's go average price and roll that out. This is much more realistic of what the market has done in Murrayville. And believe it or not, is this still? There's no way. It's still on Townhouse. Believe it or not, the peak was actually July 24 and not 22 if you roll it out. Now, Murrayville's different because you'll end up with a lot of downsizer, primary bedroom on the main, big town, new stuff, all sorts of different stuff. So there you go. If I were thinking of downsizing, I might want to do that sooner rather than later. Correct. I agree with you. Just because if you're selling a bigger property, you sell soon, and then you get the money out, then you move on. James Ruffald's here. Hello, James. With depreciation report being mandatory for grandfathered building students, it was never grandfathered, was it? Where you didn't have to do one. It was just you could vote them out. Is it a bad time to start to look at strata windups? The answer to is it a bad time to look at a strata windup is yes. Developers aren't buying anything right now in that way. And I did a strata windup video on my channel if you hadn't watched it. Strata windup is not what you think it is. Strata windup is not the cash cow you think it is. It's going to take 10 to 15 years to figure it out. Unless you're in a very small complex, you will not have a windfall. You will sell for market value if you're lucky. You will not, unless it's this weird thing where your 17-unit townhouse site just got zoned to 65 stories. But you're probably not. So generally speaking, and that 65 stories ain't getting built anytime soon. Development sites right now are tough. Very, very tough. I heard foreclosures have to be bought 50% down. Is that true? Do you mean down payment? No. You can buy a foreclosure with a conventional mortgage. You could probably even do it high risk. I will just tell you, high risk. That's Freudian, isn't it? Freudian? Don't know. Not that smart. You can do it high ratio. The problem with foreclosures is that generally people think you're going to get a better deal. That's usually not what happens. They usually sell at or above market value because they go to an auction live at court. And then people all seem to want to bid it up for some reason. So think about this. You'll get a, let's say you get a house and it's a crappy old fixer-upper. And down the street is a crappy old fixer-upper that somebody got foreclosed on by the bank. Let's say the crappy old fixer-upper here, lot value is worth $1.1 million. And the foreclosure lot value is worth $1.1 million. The crappy old fixer-upper that the guy's lived there for 50 years and hasn't really done anything, but, you know, he's kind of been the guy that lived there and it's been fine. He just hasn't updated anything. Maybe he sells it to you for $1.1 million. What happens over at the piece of crap teardown, foreclosure that's horrible, and you may have to get bailiffs to get the occupants out or whatever the case is, it'll come on the market at 1.15. It'll reduce. Over time, every 30 days or so, there will be a reduction. So it'll go $1,050,000, then it'll go $999, then it'll go $9 whatever. And when it's at $999, I'll get offers at like $850 or $900, right? The bank's never going to take it. The bank has an obligation to try and get the most amount of money for the property. They have to show that at court, actually, so they can't just take a lowball offer. Just because a bank is only owed so much doesn't mean they don't have the duty to try and maximize the dollars out, which they do for both their investors or the original owner, if there's a extra. So what happens? It goes to court at, say, $950, and then everybody goes, oh, it's a good deal. And then you get 3, 4, 5 people show up and they bid that thing up to $1 million, $1,025,000, $1,050,000, 1.1, or whatever that number is. They bid it up at the kind of live auction almost. And then, so let's say you got it for $50,000 under market value. Now you have the complete risk of, did the occupant pour cement down the drains? Did they light it on fire the day before possession? It doesn't matter. You still have to close. So not as good a deal as you think they are, even if you get them under market, which you usually don't. Usually they get bid up within condos that we do. Most of the condos that we do get bid up over market value at court. So if you want a smart way to do it, get your offer accepted and then do not go to court. If you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. But that's for an investor, never an end user. If you're an end user, never buy a court sale. If you're going to move into the property, never buy a court sale. Have you tried to adjust the current price inflation? If so, what would that be around 2018 prices? I have no idea. I'm not that smart. Everybody's like, in real nominal terms, blah, 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 blah. I have dollars. That's what I know. I know you own money or you own property because dollars are devaluing. I'm going to have my protein shake now. So dollars are devaluing. So you own property. Eventually, the property will stay worth the same. The dollar will become worth less, which is all I think has happened to our real estate, by the way. Yeah, I got to get my afternoon protein shake. Canadian protein, by the way, if there is such a thing. If you can figure out real pricing, nominal pricing, all that stuff, okay, I guess you're smart. But I've already said 1 billion times on here how the smartest economists I know don't have any money. Economists should be the richest people in the world, right? Anything legislative that explains why we don't have a 30-year mortgage here? We do have a 30-year mortgage here, just not a 30-year term. Or how banks decide to run it up here. You know what? That's a great question. I don't know why there is no 30-year fixed here. We've always traditionally had the 5-year fixed as being the most regular term that gets set. So I'll give you the argument, though. Here's the argument. When interest rates were coming down off of their highs of like 22% in the early 80s, anybody that was connected to that mortgage, they were like, again, we're Canadian, we have to complain. it's unfair that I signed on to this 5-year mortgage or this 10-year mortgage or whatever it was at the time. So now it's predatory if rates are coming down that you hold me to my old contract. It's unfair. It's also unfair that when I need to remortgage and rates are 2% higher, that I have a new rate 2% higher. So the reason we have short-term interest rates is, in my understanding, is because it was unfair to hold somebody to a longer interest rate or a higher interest rate for longer. And then there's penalties to break mortgages and all that sort of stuff. So I don't know if that helps or not. I also don't think anybody, for instance, right now, let's talk about Canada's 5-year fixed rates, probably around 4%. Who is going to sign a 30-year fixed rate right now for 7% like they are in the States? Nobody's going to elect for 3% higher, so they go with a 5-year fixed rate. You can get a 10-year rate right now. I'm assuming it's 5.5%. Anybody want to sign up for that? Not a chance. That's why. Would have been nice to get the 30-year rate in 2021. Sneaky Pete, good question. I don't know the answer. Tony must be joining late because it is a good time to upsize to a detached house. The question is yes. And I'll show you why again. Everybody kind of saw this earlier, but I'm going to say you weren't here. It is good because, say, for instance, you are in this townhouse, which is coming down in price. Look how much faster the detached home is coming down in price. So the gap is getting smaller. Same with the condo to the townhouse. So the gap is smaller, moving up, buying more. If you are buying more than you are selling in a buyer's market, you are a buyer. Other way around in a seller's market. Good question, Tony. They removed, oh, here we go. Joe is answering. They removed them legislatively to protect the buyers. Exactly. There you go. Joe is answering Sneaky Pete's question like I did. Perfect. I could have just said read his answer. Is it gross to watch me drink my protein shake on? Can you hear it? I just ended a back and forth counteroffer situation with an old place in poor shape with a homeowner looking to retire. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. Their bottom was just too high. Welcome to the marketplace. As opposed to my bottom, which is sagging because I'm getting old. Dad joke. Dad joke. Thanks for reading my comments. I know negativity is not good for your business, and there's so much of it these days. There's a lot of negativity out there. Saw something the other day. Tom Story sent it to me, actually. It said something like, cynics sound smart and positive people are rich. Something like that. Seems to be the way it is. Here's the thing. Let's talk totally different, not real estate, semi-real estate related. Again, a lot of those economists I know, a lot of those cynics, a lot of the people on Twitter that talk about how everything's so bad and so grumpy and blah, blah, blah. Cool. You know who has a lot of money? Real estate agents. And they're not smart. They're not smart. And most of them didn't make their money selling real estate. They just invested their money, and they know that you buy assets. It's true. Yipchi says, thanks for the clarification on the foreclosures. You are welcome. They are a nightmare. Don't buy one. Why are condo fees so high nowadays? Condo fees are generally not high. There will be some buildings where they are high. If you missed it on my channel, go back. I answered this exact question in a long form video of which I broke down strata fees and what you get per month per person or per unit. And it was completely reasonable. The insurance was like $50 a month. The gardening was like $50 a month. So you add all of those things up, you end up with a high strata fee. But I just call them properly maintained homes. When you have a detached house, nobody maintains their houses and they all fall apart and they're crap until somebody's ready to tear them down or rent them. And people don't maintain their yards and they have 14-foot tall grass for some reason and their cedar hedges grow 40 feet tall and never get trimmed. It's because strata actually maintains their property. If you have a low maintenance fee, it means low maintenance. There is the occasional building that has an extremely high strata fee in comparison to other strata fees, and a lot of those are problem buildings. There are a few that I can think of. Hello from Ontario. Hello from Surrey. Oh, I lost it. My house is finally paid off. 4 years. 4 years of 5 term. Okay. Great. Being paid off is fantastic. I'm 56 with 4 grown children. Should have had more kids. You got 4 kids. That's great. You did your job. And your house is paid off. Welcome to the Canadian dream. Now just be super grumpy and complain about everything and watch hockey. Sellers in Brookswood are still delusional. All comps in neighborhoods they are selling for 2.2 to 2.4. New listings showing up at 2.7 plus. This is very much the way. I'm planning to stop looking and wait a year. You are more than welcome to do that, or just buy the ones that are actually willing to sell. It is all the sold price. It is the way it is. I will also say Brookswood, I'm not super stoked about it for the future. I will also say the bigger properties, the 20,000 square foot plus lots up to 2 acres, they just seem to be holding their value because old people with money can go buy them and stay away from other people that don't have money. That's why I think they're worth so much more. Damn it, I just missed this. Now I'm 30 minutes behind. Well, don't worry. You can go back and watch it later. Love your streams. Love your comments. Thank you. Too much negativity. I agree. So I have a family member that lived outside of Canada for many, many years. Whole career outside, retired back to Canada. And what they tell me is one thing they notice when traveling the world and working is Canadians are the biggest complainers on the planet. So complaining in hockey. Do what you're good at. What trends are you seeing now with sellers? Are they still thinking they're going to recover or waiting for the spring again? I'm actually having good talks with a lot of sellers right now. I'm bringing on a lot of listings. They're in really good shape and getting lots of activity, which is good. I think everybody has given up on the prices of 2022, thankfully. I'm just not sure anyone has, what's the word they like to use? What do all the grumpy bears say? Capitulated. There's the people that want to sell and there's the people that don't. And that's just regular real estate. Everybody's acting like this was the first time sellers have ever asked too much for their homes. When I got into the business, we would have, I mean, most years, just the stat that everybody should get used to. Most years in my market of the Fraser Valley, between 45 and 47% of the homes actually sell. So you usually have more than 50% of listings that expire and don't sell. That is regular real estate. In the crazy times, it went up to like 70 or 80%. That many homes should not be selling because it means sellers are getting more than they should. So what trends am I seeing? We've sold to a number of investors lately. Most of our condos that are large 2-bedrooms are selling. There's a thing that we should talk about. Large 2-bedroom condos, 2 beds and dens sell all day long, and tiny micro units and high rises good luck to you. That's the way it is. So understand that if you're buying a property, buy something that isn't just to buy something that is a good asset to hold. So for instance, when I bought my investment property, I bought a 2-bed, 2-bath condo with unique features of which I know will be desirable no matter when I go to sell. So for instance, the place I bought backs onto a green space. It has a massive deck on it, which is like another living room. The regret I have is it only has 1 parking instead of 2. I didn't buy anywhere near where a student wants to be or near transit. I don't want near transit tenants. I don't want them. You can have them. That's fine. I don't want near transit tenants. I don't want student tenants. I don't want unemployed tenants. I want something good. I can't even remember why I'm ranting about this. I should probably try and wrap it up here. No, let's keep going. I lost. Is this market and in this market and for the future, does it make sense to keep the first detached home as a rental and buy a second home as a primary residence if I can afford? Not thinking for short term. Well, it depends. If you can afford to keep a rental home, keep a rental home. If you can't, don't. Most people can't, so they don't. I don't like, Rakesh, I personally don't like owning detached homes for rentals because you've got other things, right? Roof leaks, that's on you, not the Strata. I like Strata units because the Strata fee is worth not having to maintain the rest of the BS. I don't have to worry about the garden. I don't have to worry about the lawns. I don't know how many times I can mention lawns in this today, but there's nothing worse in our society today than people that don't like mow their lawn. It drives me crazy. Moss on the roof, get it out of there. Maintain your properties. It's my grumpy old man talking. So I say hold on to properties for sure. If you're great enough to want to hold on to a detached, hold on to a detached. The headache is not worth it for me. Some buildings these days have so many amenities. If you use them, it's great. If you don't, it makes absolutely no sense. Amenities are usually a requirement from the city, which I think are a joke, because then they stop maybe things from businesses opening up, swimming pools, community, gyms, whatever. They take up living space, which I don't think they necessarily need to. And most people use them zero. So if you have a pool, that's great. If you use a pool, that's wonderful. Everybody's like, I don't want a place with a pool because the maintenance fee is too high. No, it's not. A pool is almost no maintenance. It's fine. There's no big maintenance fees on pools. But it just doesn't make sense to maintain anything that you don't need. And most gyms are half stolen sets of weights and treadmills that don't work anymore. Some of them are nice. Most of them. I would never buy a place based on the amenities unless I was retired and I was going to use those amenities. The rest of the time, I don't got time for it. There is no gym that can hold these back in a condo. I need to go to like Gold's or something. So stupid. You are 100% the most level-headed real estate agent I've seen. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. You're the first to say Canada has old money. Did I say that? I just said, well, people have money. There's rich people out there. People have 150K income and can afford 2K mortgages. If you got 150 income, what can you afford? Times 4, 600, 7. You can afford $3,500 a month. Did I do that math right? I do not know. Nux 4 Cup. No, I think you have to wait another year. Common commenter on the channel who gets hidden quite a bit by the YouTube algorithm, but I see you. Complaining is one of the few things we have left to do that's tax-free. Complaining tax is happening. I think that's actually why they're doing the hate speech laws now. They're going to tax you with your freedom. Final question. Thoughts on the future of Fleetwood Tynehead? Great question. I'm a complainer too, because I'm Canadian. I am not super optimistic for Fleetwood personally because I grew up there. I went to school there. I hung out on all of those streets and got up to no good as a young kid. And I feel like it's going to be closer to Kingsway style now than what I grew up with. So I have nostalgic memories of it. And I don't think it's going to be what I thought it was or what I remember it as, which was family homes and that sort of thing. What it will be good for, or what it will be good or bad or whatever you want it to be, is it will be the corridor for people who want to avoid Wally, be in Surrey, be close to the SkyTrain, of which will be worse neighborhoods. And that's why I feel like it'll become like Kingsway, right? It'll just, I think the charm of Fleetwood will go away. Now, Fleetwood's also a big area, so when you get into some of the neighborhoods away from the actual Fraser Highway corridor, different thing. I looked at buying in Fleetwood. I would rather buy in Fleetwood than I necessarily would Wally. I'm just not super stoked of the feel of it all compared to what I grew up with. So if it was me, because I would much rather be in Cloverdale. I would much rather be in Willoughby, Walnut Grove, Grandview, anywhere else. Sullivan even? Maybe Sullivan. I noticed you're not a fan of the newer, larger McMansions in Brookswood. I am not. If you want to call them McMansions, I just call them houses. The future of Brookswood. What don't you like about it? There is nothing that comps in other cities are substantially more money. Mike, what I don't like about Brookswood is I hate going into a neighborhood that has all white houses with all black trim, and the flat roof life's building style to me in a rainforest is insane. It's ugly, but it's also not meant for this climate, so you're gonna have all sorts of problems in the future. I just don't like that they've took what was a very kind of old growth feel area and they've just packed it in and make it felt like Grandview, right? Like there's no, like, the density is ridiculous. I don't like any of the construction styles. I don't have a lot of hope for it. I was looking at property for myself actually a year or two ago, right on the lakes there at 203rd and whatever that was, and they're just doing like crazy density right next door to what should be remain maybe acreages. Have to go for some reason to high-rise condo, low-rise condo, and then just pack them in. I dislike density. I don't think it's, sorry, let me rephrase that. I think density should be done smarter. I do not like townhouses that are stacked in houses that are stacked in like townhouses. You want to have townhouses? Have townhouses. You want to have jammed together tiny little houses? Give them some sort of character. Give them something. But that's not what they've done. That's why I like if I'm going to buy into a community, I would much prefer buy into like a Fox Ridge, 200 lot subdivision than I would individual builds, low quality, ugly houses. I really hate new construction houses, most of them. Looking at investment condos 1 to 2 years from now, first investment property, own in Maple Ridge, looking at Abbotsford and Chilliwack. Thoughts? The only reason to go to Abbotsford or Chilliwack is you do get a lower entry point for similar rents. I just wouldn't. I like my rentals closer to me so I can manage them. Chilliwack has seen a massive drop-off, so you just have to know that in Chilliwack you're probably going to get rougher around the edges tenants than you would in other places. So just be okay with that. Is it true Tom Story has an OnlyFans page? It is, absolutely. Do you see any of the young generation pre-millennials looking? What's a millennial now? I'm a millennial. Did you know that? I'm 45 and I'm technically the first year of millennial. Yeah, we have lots of, it's not uncommon for us to, what's a millennial now? What do they go to? What year? How old are you what's the first Gen Z? What's the first Gen Z year? Tell me that. But I still have plenty. I got a guy that put so much money away. I met him actually off of YouTube. He bought an investment property at like 23 and then bought his own property this year, his second property, and he's like 25. Just crushing it, man. Because he's like, yeah, I work, I stack my chips, and then I want to buy a property. And he's like, I know it's not good. I want to buy another one. I know it's not good. I want to buy another one. In the future, that guy's going to do great. Sorry. I lost it all now. Thank you for commenting. So yeah, I'm seeing, I think there's still, even at this day, there's plenty of people at 25 years old, if they actually applied themselves, who could buy a property, and that property is not going to be their forever home, but it's going to be a property of which they can build equity in for a certain amount of time, and then meet somebody and shack up, and then they're going to use their income together, and they're either going to keep that as a rental property, or they're going to move on and sell it and shack up, move into a townhouse. Like, this is what you do. Have kids, get married. You don't know how to do that? Put down the video games, turn off YouTube right now, go to the pub, have a beer, you'll meet some people. The only problem is they'll all be old now. Thoughts on Crescent Beach market? Walk there often. Same for sale signs. Yeah. So Crescent Beach is weird because the really nice houses are super expensive, and there's always lots of old crappy kind of beach condos or cottages that are all still available. The problem I have with Crescent Beach personally is it's below floodplain. So, I like to not be below floodplain. Just some preference. When we have the big one, I don't know what happens to Crescent Beach. Nice little area. As long as you don't get stuck behind the train. Thank you for answering. I'll be calling you regarding selling. Please do. I'm a G. What square footage is considered a dog crate condo for a 2-bed, 2-bath? Great question. What is it, dog crate? Who came up with dog crate condo? We used to call them all sorts of other things. Bird cages, maybe, because they were up so high. Dog crate, though. I will give you my interpretation of a dog crate condo. I think I would, if it was up to me personally, I would never buy a studio apartment. I just wouldn't. Even for an investment. If it was up to me, I would, but lots of people do. Let me get that clear. Lots of people love them. If it was a 1-bed, anything under 450 would be ridiculous. I would want over 500. And really, if I was living there, wife and kids leave me and I got to go live in a 1-bed somewhere, I want 650 or above for a 1-bed. But realistically, anything under 500. For a 2-bed, 2-bath, I don't think anything feels super livable under 800 square feet. And just as an example of this, I saw about a year and a half ago, somebody reached out to me and they were looking at a 2-bed, 1-bath condo. And I looked at the price and I was like, 2-bed, 1-bath. And the price was like so good. It was like, I think it was at that time like $530 or something for a brand new 2-bed, 1-bath. And I was like, that should be like $599 to $600 easy. And then why? Well, they sent over the floor plan. 2-bed, 1-bath, 560 square feet, including deck. I'm like, guys, I don't know what you're buying here, but this is not a 2-bed, 1-bath. So I would say if you're really anything under 700 square feet for a 2-bed is a dog crate. They feel tight at 750. And I personally, every condo I've ever owned has been over 800 square feet for a 2-bed. I've owned 2-bed, 2-bath, 2-bed, 2-bath, 2-bed, 1-bath. And they've all been, the smallest one is my current one, I think, at 810 square feet. So I lived in 810 or 820 square feet for 4 years. And I, as a single person, loved it. It was great. Sorry, let me go back up here. We're really getting sidetracked here. All valid points about Brookswood. Many people, especially the ones who live there, share the same views. Yeah, like it's just a changing the guard, right? Like what Brookswood will be or is now compared to what I grew up with. I'm a grumpy old man now. I have nostalgia for it. Any chance I can find a 4-bed, 4-bath, 1,700 square foot Langley Willoughby under $900K? Let's do it live. Hang on one sec. Oh, this is fun. Let's clear this search out. And I'm going to go... Sorry, you guys could see the back-end system here. Active in the Fraser Valley in Willoughby. Oops, sorry. If I could spell Willoughby, that would be nice. I sell. I don't spell. 4-bed, 4-bath. Townhouse, 900. There are 6 available. There you go. The answer, yes. Call us. We'll book you in right now. Let me go to the public reports so I don't get in trouble by showing you some seller's name or something. 203 and 68th, $799, 20 years old. Yeah, man, there is space out there. Oh, did I do, this one's 1,900 square feet. I did not do your square footage. This one's 1,638 square feet, $799. There's nothing out there. There's nothing out there. Nothing's affordable. I mean, they're affordable. There's a couple of them. These are under 1,700, but just barely. I should check my phone. Nope. 878. 1,700, well, 1,696. Is that close enough for you? 4-bed, 2-bath. Or sorry, 4-bed, 2 half-bath, 2 full-bath. 1,800 square feet, 209. And man, these ones aren't even that old. These are only, whatever, 11, 14 years old. There you go. They are out there. You can get them. Give us a call. We'll sell you one. Ah, yes, James is here. More drinking. Yes, see? You guys should drink with me. Like, I was just listening to, I don't know if anybody's ever watched, man, this is getting off track. I'm going to wrap up soon. If you've ever watched Graham Stephan's Iced Coffee Hours, just Graham Stephan's podcast, he's a finance YouTuber, has gone into the podcast space. He just had a guy on talking about how young kids aren't drinking anymore. And his whole argument was like, well, you can not drink and have a super healthy body, but then you have no friends and no life and no mate and no kids. And what's it good for the rest of you? So get out there, have some drinks. Great. More about selling. Yep. You betcha. Some great deals contemplating a move. Oh, this is, so my options were today. Sorry, this is actually really great. You mentioned some great deals. This is Mike. My video today was actually these listings that I've picked out here, and I was going to review if I was buying this. These particular ones are North Langley or Langley condos, and what I saw as great deals. They're real listings that really sold, so I can show you what I think a great deal is. I was going to shoot that today. I'm obviously not going to do it, but I'm going to try and get that information out. So I'm considering being, as a result of actually watching, so Tom Story on his team, he has an amazing agent on his team named Amrit. Amrit has his own YouTube channel. You should go check that out because he's trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. Really nice guy, hardworking dude. And he started doing these, like, what would I buy videos? And I was like, man, that's great, because people are like, they don't know what a good deal is when they see it, right? So I was like, I'm going to totally steal that idea. I told Amrit that today, actually. I just texted him. I said, I'm stealing your video idea, and I'm going to start doing a few of like, what would I buy if I were you in this area, so you can see what a good deal is. And of course the comments are going, oh, it's still too expensive. I can't believe it's 600 grand for a 2-bed condo. Yeah, all that stuff. But I'm going to show you, what I would buy in certain areas. Is it townhouses? Is it condos? The one I'm looking at first is North Langley condos, because we've just had a flurry of buyers looking at North Langley condos right now. So that's the first one we're going to do. I personally am looking towards further out in Langley, or maybe South Surrey. Don't know where I'm going to end up. Angry Mortgage Guys, that's got to be Ron, I think. Yeah, that's a dog crate condo comment, whoever came up with that. What a great channel, right? Ron's just running a great channel. It's funny that the grumpiest, oldest white dudes seem to be, everybody that's super grumpy seems to be old, grumpy, overweight white dudes like me and Ron. I'm gonna get going here, I think. Dumb Money says, hey, Steve, do you run into Ravi anymore? I don't. I should, though, because I just had a development project blow up, and it's all the stuff that he was, just commenting on, like, all this small residential, these units we're going to get to build fast, and the city just blew it up in my face. So I should send that to him and be like, hey, so much for trying to get these things going. Hey, just got an email. Look at this. I don't know if you saw Richard Diaz on the podcast this last week, but if you did, anyway, we were just emailing back and forth. One of our best. Not as many views as I thought, but man, do people love that guy. And I love him too. I thought he was great. Didn't I just answer these questions? Built less than 10 years. Oh, look at this. See, this is how it goes. Any chance of getting a 4-bed, 4-bath over 1,800 square feet, under 900 grand, built less than 18 years, but built less than 10 years ago? It's like, yeah, I just found you what you wanted, and you're like, oh, no, I can't have 14 years old. I need 10 or less. I'm giving you the gears, but there's always a reason why that one's not the right one. Literally found you something for $7.99 that was more than what you asked for, and you're like, but I have another restriction I need to put on it so I have a reason not to buy. I'm really giving you the gears here. Have you guys considered interviewing locals? So people have the right idea of area. I recommend you can get lots of viewers. Locals meaning like the people in those areas, of what they like or don't like about their area, like just civilians just out there. Everybody, what my experience is with homeowners or people that live in a neighborhood is they love it. And they will always tell you they love it. And then any tenant will always tell you why it's the worst. And this is my experience about going into properties, because tenants don't want to move, and sellers want to sell you. So they're always going to sell you. Richard was fantastic. You are correct. Thanks, Nux, for the cup. I'm going to wrap it up there. Thank you, everybody. Make sure to click the like button if you have not already. Hit the heart button so I can see a few of those tick by. Share this with your friends. Please go ahead and share our Richard Diaz episode of the podcast and try and get us some more views. And if I see you around, I don't know if anybody's going to be coming out. Well, probably not this group, but the Pac West conference is going to be going on in a couple of weeks. I'm going to be there. If you're a realtor, you should attend. I'm going to make sure I have my Tom Story Show. Can I get that? Stickers in my pocket to hand out to anybody that wants one. It should be a good time. I'm even going to try and get by the Looney Hour live podcast that they're doing. I bought tickets. You should buy tickets too, just to support those guys. I'm not sure if I'm going to get there, but I'm going to try to get there. I've been on here for an hour and 9 minutes now. I'm going to go hit the like button. Have a great day.